Okay, here we are with the all-new Alpinestars Tech Air 5 Plasma Airbag System. What I want to show you today is what it takes to disassemble this and wash the outer covering. Grab the zipper pull here on the back that goes all the way around the perimeter of the back protector, and let's open that up. You'll have to come inside here and remove the service panel cover for the electronics. You can see in here, here is the controller. Over here is the actual inflator canister itself. To remove the switch up in the front and the LED panel, which is right here, and then the switch trigger is right here, you need to disconnect this connector, push down on the release right here in the center, and pull like that. Remember, anytime you disconnect an electrical connector like this, you never want to pull on the wires. You're always pulling on the connector. That helps to ensure the wires are not dislodged from the connector body itself. Now come down here towards the tail of the back protector and remove it from the bottom of the mesh chassis. Release the Velcro right here at the top. Okay. And then you can kind of fold that out of the way. Reach down inside and pull the airbag bladder up. You're going to note R for right, color coded here in blue, and there's an R on that as well. Undo the snap. We have a mirror image over on the left side, of course. Go ahead and pull that through. Undo the snap. Give you a little look here. This is the bleed valve, and this is also something that when you test after a deployment, the integrity of the back protector. And I apologize, Alpinestars did not send out the integrity tester, which is essentially, it's just a fitting that replaces the inflator canister and then a cap for the Schrader valve here. You would take the cap off of that, put it on here, thread that into where the canister is, and then you'd use something like a bicycle pump. Okay, don't use your air compressor to inflate this, but you can use a bicycle pump, get the airbag bladder itself inflated, right? Make sure it's holding air and you don't have any ruptures in it, and you could do that before you service replacing the canister if you just want to make sure the integrity of the bladder still remains intact after deployment. What we can share with you is over the years we have deployed, especially my little buddy Max Van, many an airbag vest from Alpinestars. We've never had an issue with the bladder itself. Undo the snap here, reach inside, and you can kind of turn this inside out a little bit to get yourself some really good access. There are going to be, up in the front abdomen area, 3 attachment points. Once again, all color coded, which is nice. Undo the snaps to release the airbag bladder. This is a real step forward when you compare this to the original Tech Air 5, which has been a great system for us. It's been really reliable. A lot of people have used it. It's protected a lot of riders. It's awesome. That one was more challenging to wash, kind of like the Tech Air Race, because you were unable to remove the airbag bladder. So you just, you had to like maybe Febreze it, right? You couldn't really submerge it, use any soap to really knock the stink off. Is what it is. Race suits are smelly. In my opinion, not a big deal. Okay, so we've got all that undone. Now the shoulders. Grab a hold of the airbag. We're going to turn the chassis itself kind of inside out here. And once again, color coded, baby. Undo that. Come over here. Undo the snaps. And look at that. she's apart. So let's give you a good look at the airbag itself. Here's the portion for the back. You can see how it kind of wraps around the ribs a little bit. This portion is what crosses over the top of the shoulders. That's one of the most critical zones, right? Most common injury in road racing crashes is going to be a broken collarbone. How that typically happens is on impact, the helmet is forced against the collarbone, makes contact, doesn't take a lot of pressure, breaks it. This section right here prevents that. Coverage for the shoulder, right? And you see there's a lot of coverage there for the shoulder, and that's all going to work in conjunction with the armor that's in your race suit and or your jacket for protection. Up here in the front area, to preserve airflow, and this is going to be a great way to illustrate what they've done. Let me get this turned around. Alpinestars with this model, you know, they listen to the riders, right? They listen to the feedback. They want to make the riding experience as good as it can possibly be while still protecting the rider, of course. There is less bladder up here in some of the chest area to preserve airflow for the rider, so you're still getting the cooling that you're going to need on those hot summer rides. If you look at that and you're like, man, I just really want maximum coverage, of course there's options, right? You can go with one of the other units. You lose some of the benefits you get with the latest and greatest, of course, but you could do that. Or you could use a very thin chest guard to slide in place underneath your race suit in that area to work in conjunction with the airbag system on the race suit. Entirely up to you. If you want to test the integrity of the airbag bladder, to release the canister, you grab on this little pull right here, right? Push down, pull up, grab the canister like so. It's very important when you unplug this that you compress both of these black tabs. And this is an area, this is a spot you take your time, man. You don't want to break this connector. This connector is definitely, it's robust, but in the same regard, if you force it when trying to remove it, it's fragile. So you have to compress these black tabs to release it from the base of the canister. Unthread the canister. The piece they did not send out to us, as I understand it, you thread that in right here. There is going to be a Schrader valve on the end of it. Take the cap off that. You cap off the bleed valve on the airbag system right here. Okay? Thread that piece in. Use a bicycle pump. You're going to inflate this. Make sure it's holding air. Then go ahead and pull that out. Make sure to take this cap off. If you leave that cap in place and the airbag deploys, as I understand it, the airbag will not deflate on its own. And that would be entertaining, but not that great. So make sure you take that cap off and put it back on the integrity tester and then put it back in the packaging that it came with. The model they've sent us right now, while this is a perfect representation of a production model, it did not come with all of the retail packaging manuals and some of the other add-on items that would come with it, like that integrity tester. Okay, so this gives you a really good look at that. Now, if we want to wash it, you need to do more than just simply remove the airbag and the electronics back here. You have to remember, we still have our LED panel, and right here in the chest area, okay, that is the trigger to turn it on. They're using the magnet system like they have used previously, which this here, that can stay in there, right, when you wash it. There's nothing there that's going to get hurt, right, by being submerged. But the electronics, you do not want these underwater in a washing machine, right? To remove these, we're going to go inside the right abdomen pocket of the chassis. For the LED panel, just kind of pull it out of its pocket, like so. Now for the switching mechanism. Let's go ahead and turn this bad boy inside out. There it is right there. Release the Velcro. All right, and that's gonna come out like so. Now you've got your wiring harness. This runs from here all the way back to the control unit that is in the back protector, the plasma back protector. So to do this, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go ahead and, this thing all twisted around here, you're going to want to go ahead and slide this through the channel and pull it down this way, okay? And then down here, that loop is elastic. Like so. Out that comes. Now you're able to take this. How I would wash this, how I would proceed with this is I'm going to probably go a mild detergent. I'm going to go into a laundry tub. I'm going to hand wash this thing. I'm going to hang it up. I'm going to line dry it, right? The dryer can be hard on shit. That's really up to you if you want to throw it in there. Personally, I would not do that. How often would you wash this? We went years. All right, Max, teenager, riding in the Tech Air race stuff at all the Moto America events, all the testing events that we went to. If I'm being open and honest, all we ever did is we threw the thing on the race suit dryer that we use, and we tried to keep it as dry as we could throughout the day. After every session, the suit would get hung up with the airbag in it, all the air circulating through it. We never, not one time, washed those, and they are actually hanging up in this room that we're in right now because a bunch of his race suits are in here, and they're not terrible. Okay, actually don't even notice it right now. Perhaps I'm conditioned to it. So how often are you going to need to service this? That's probably a personal decision, a personal choice. This shows you what it's going to take simply to wash it, and it also gives you a little bit of insight as to what it will require to repack the unit itself. Full disclosure, I was going to end this video right there and not show you how to put this thing back together, but my cameraman Tom said, dude, he goes, I feel like when people have all this shit over here laying on the table, he goes, they're going to want to have a video of someone showing them how to put it back together. So, if you're one of those people, you have Video Tom to thank for what's about to come. So, we're going to put her back together. We've hand washed our chassis, we've line dried it, we are good to go. We want to get out and we want to do some riding. First thing we have to reinstall is going to be the wiring harness for the LED and the switching mechanism. So to do that, you got to do some turning inside out here. Step number one. You got to bring the harness through that lower elastic loop right here. That loop is elastic, so you can stretch it over the switch, like so. I do have to confess, they did a really nice job with this part of it. I mean, this thing is really starting to, with these airbag systems, and this is how this is going to slide in here, okay? Like so, and you can see there's no Velcro where the switch itself needs to go. Kind of see that cutout there? So hold it in place and make sure you capture that with the Velcro. All right, It's going to be held in place firmly. When I look back to the very first units and compare this to those, while those were great and they provided all this kick-ass protection, you know, they kind of really had this like factory race feel to them. And when I say that, you know, with that, it's like it didn't have all that consumer-facing bells and whistles and all the I's dotted and T's crossed. Very functional, super protective, got right to it. You know, now this has answered a lot of that and moved it forward in just a great way. And I think this whole airbag thing, this is without a doubt the most significant advancement. I'm trying to find that channel here in motorcycle protection, without a doubt. There it is right there, turned it inside out. My estimation is this is going to be the most unpleasant portion of this task. Hopefully I'm wrong. I don't know, it seems like it's going A-okay. Alright, and here is the other end. Okay, so the part I was dreading the most turned out to be not all that terrible. Now we have our LED panel down here. Turn that inside out. And one suggestion I would make too is make sure you don't have everything feeling all twisted, right? Turn it inside out, see how it looks from the outside. So we missed a little bit there. There we go, like so. Okay, once you have that secured and in place, you can go ahead and work on, that was our canister. I think it's going to be okay. Cut right there.
Okay.
Yeah, don't show the canister hitting the deck. Ready?
Yep.
Okay, harness is in the vest. Now let's go ahead and let's get the airbag back in. And there's probably a couple of ways we could do this. This is only the second time I've ever done it. And the last time I did it in a different manner. So let's try this one and see how it works. Here is the back side of the airbag. You can identify that. There's the Oetiker clamp right there that's going to have the attachment point for the inflator canister. So that is without doubt the back. Let's kind of stretch this thing out a little bit, like so. Then let's get our chassis. Oriented correctly. All right. Now, go ahead and turn this shoulder sleeve inside out to expose our attachment points. Color coded, love that. Now remember, this is going to have to kind of fold over like so. Slide these through the slot. Both sides fully attached. Now you can take and grab the inside of the sleeve, grab that airbag bladder, just give it a light pull right through. Okay, so mission accomplished there. And now let's go ahead, and the chest piece, that is going to have to pull over the shoulder. Slide your hand in the pocket. So probably the biggest point here is going to be, let's make sure we have not folded that airbag over, okay? I double checked that. It is not folded, we're good to go. Let's come in here and find our attachment points. Remember, there are 3. You know, what I found with the airbags, when these first came out, you know, my expectation would be this is going to be like the new helmet, right? And everybody's going to want one. And I would say, here's our 3rd attachment point right here. And I would say for track riders, that has definitely, that's landed, right? If you're riding on the racetrack, I feel like the overwhelming majority of people either already own an airbag system, or an airbag system is on their list of shit they want. Now for the street, we've seen much less adaptation, right? And in my estimation, the street is probably presents more hazards and more. I'm just trying to fold this thing, make sure it's all good in there. Look at that. The amazing part is I don't even have my glasses on right now, and I think this is turning out stellar. The street, I think, is, you know, probably more dangerous. Having personally enjoyed a airbag deployment on a racetrack in a situation where I felt, yeah, that might have been, that could have been a collarbone. Again, bummer. It worked. It was awesome. I don't know that I'd really want to do a lot of street riding without an airbag. And, you know, this is the kind of thing, a vest like this, like say you like to wear like an armored hoodie or something. Right? So you're not wearing a full proper jacket, but, you know, you're down with a hoodie. There's no reason in the world you can't throw the hoodie over the top of this and have state-of-the-art impact protection, right? While wearing something that's, you know, maybe a little more casual in terms of abrasion resistance and whatnot. Because it's the impact, that's the part that's going to get you. That's the bummer. Scrapes. Those heal nice. It's the broken bones and such that take more time. All right, so same thing. Make sure you're not twisting it. Let's get that pulled over the shoulder. Let's find our attachment points. Here's the first one. Here is our second one. And number 3 right over here. Thus far, I have to tell you that the way I'm doing it this time, which is having the airbag removed from the back protector and the controller, I think I like this a little bit better. It's easier to handle. You don't have that back protector all flopping around. So now we're going to go through that process of just making sure that you got it tucked away in here nicely. As long as when you have this all put together, you don't have it folded up and twisted, okay? There's so much force when that canister pops that, like let's say that, you know, the way you have it routed, you know, it's just a slightly sloppy in there. And I'm not encouraging a sloppy job. Don't misread what I'm saying right now. But don't get super lost in, oh, this thing has to be perfectly flat. Trust me, it's gonna flatten, it's gonna flatten right out. When that canister deploys, man, that airbag's filling up, you're gonna be protected. You're gonna be damn happy you bought it. Okay, so this mesh pocket down here, right? This is kind of where the back protector gets trapped. We need to be on the inside of that and on the inside of this as well. So tuck that in there, like so. And then we're gonna look for our 2 attachment points. And this is kind of on the rib protection here. So these will be color coded. Reach in there and you're going to find it. And this is where the front, the chest protection and the back protection, when it comes to rib coverage, they kind of intersect right here. Come over to the other side. Let's look for that. There it is. The material that they've used here, this is so light and airy. The enhanced airflow of this is going to be something that I think a lot of riders are really going to have an appreciation for. Okay, now I want to come down here in the base of it. And like I said, don't get lost in this, like, oh, this has got to be, yeah, do a nice job, 100%, right? But, and even wearing it too, that'll get things like stretched out and put in the right spot. So you can see, that's all in there. That's great. Now, we have to get 2 things done. Thing 1 is bring our wiring harness through the hole in the backside of the back protector where the airbag bladder nipple comes through. So that's how I secured that harness. If you want to get a tight shot of that, it goes through this slot. The harness goes over in that little cutout there, the plug right here. When you have it in your hands, all very self-explanatory. Now for the airbag bladder, just kind of lightly pull up on that, feed that through, and now here's the spot where if you want, let's go ahead, let's position our airbag back protector. And this plasma stuff, this is really good stuff. This is one of those materials where as it warms from your body heat, it becomes much more moldable, flexible, and comfortable. And it just, you know, and super protective, of course. All right, they sell this in a standalone back protector, which has become quite popular for obvious reasons. Okay, our last step is going to be reinstalling our airbag canister. Standard threads, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Now when you're tightening this up, make sure to grab it right here, kind of at the Otica clamp. Line up the connector. And you're going to feel a very positive engagement, a very positive snap there. Once you've done that, let's slide this into position. Like so. Take the retainer, pull it over. Like so. Look how nice and tight. This is only the second time I've ever done this, I'm not going to lie. Feel like I did a pretty good job. That's just Velcro around there. Make sure you have that all nice and tight. Final step is to zip that up. You know, it's something I probably should have pointed out too. Your hard on-off switch is right here. Okay, so like if you're going to travel with this thing, you know, what I would do is zip this open and turn the unit off anytime you're not using it at all. And when I say not at all, like let's say you're at the racetrack, you're racing, or you're doing a track day, and you're done, day's over, man. You're going to hang this up on the suit dryer, right, with your suit, get everything dried out nice. That's probably not a bad time, right? Just turn it off. Reach in there and turn it off. Certainly, okay, when you're traveling with it, I would 100% turn it off. You can see the LEDs right there. Cycle. You can double check our work and make sure that it's going to activate, right? Just put that back on. And there is a notable vibration right here too when this is activated that kind of gives you that sense that we're good to go, we are protected. There's your LED panel right there. Tells you which mode you're in. We are in street mode right now. You got off-road, you got race. We're in off-road now. Street. To race. To turn it off. And it vibrates to let you know. And that's a long vibration to let you know that it's turned off. Final step here. Nice clean job. Make sure you do those snaps up, man. There you have it. This is what it takes to disassemble, wash, and reassemble the all-new Alpinestars Tech Air 5 Plasma Airbag System. If you have any questions, leave those in the comments section of this video. I answer all that stuff myself. I'm always here to help you choose the right protection for your next ride.